Hey everybody, I'm Richie. Welcome to Wild at Home. It is hot today. Come along. Hey everybody, welcome to Wild at Home. I'm Richie. That's the lake, that's the sun, that's a fire. Let's get going. We are on site. I don't know why I keep saying that. We're at my parents' house where I grew up. Ooh. And we are building a fire. Can you guess what it's for? It's not cooking cabbage, though that would be delicious. We are building a fire, that's right, to cook some fish, but in a really, really special, awesome way. We're going to be cooking an old Finnish traditional technique called low-e-mow-low-he. It sounds Hawaiian, but it's Finnish. And what it means is blazed fish. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna build up this fire, and then I have a beautiful oak plank, and that oak plank is going to sit about 5 feet away from this fire. And we're gonna vertically mount a piece of salmon on it, nail it to the board, and then an hour later or so, we're gonna eat it. It's about 1,000 degrees out, and I'm sitting next to a fire. I luckily have a cold beer, and there's a nice cool lake. So I'll be jumping in and out to keep myself cool down over this process. First thing we do, build this fire up though. So I'm gonna take some time and we're gonna get a really nice coal. Never cook over a fresh and lit fire. It's too unpredictable and you won't get an even product at the end. It'll just be too hard to control. The strength of your coal bed will determine the success of your cooking. And we're just starting this fire, so it's gonna take probably about a half hour, 45 minutes of a lot of tending. So when you're building a fire for it, just watch which way that wind is going, and you're gonna wanna have your fish probably downwind so that the smoke is gonna just kind of waft over it and really get it tasty. Couple things. Fish, really good fish. Salmon is gonna be your best thing. You could do sable fish, anything high fat. So we're using coho. Like I said, all you need for this is a nice board, a natural wood. This is oak. You could use apple or cedar planks, hickory, whatever you have. Some nails, a hammer, a pot to catch the drippings. You don't necessarily need this. And then a little glaze if you want at the end. This is a nice brandy, maple syrup, a little bit of salt, and some orange zest. And that goes really nice right at the end to give it some flavor. Oh, and beer, right? This is for me, but optional. And you know, only the best here at my mom and dad's house, Miller High Life, the champagne of beers. Miller High Life goes great anytime. Put a little twinkle there, I don't know. You want to sponsor us, Miller? I don't think I'd actually take that sponsorship. So we're gonna salt our fish while the fire is being built up. And there's two ways you can salt your fish. Now, I didn't have time to do this, but there's a wet brine you can do. I'll put the recipe below. Our good friend, Chef Eric Harsey, turned me on to this. He's an incredible James Beard Award nominee chef here in Minnesota. It's a wet brine. You let it soak for about 12 minutes, right? Really quick. I didn't do that because I didn't have time. I guess I didn't have 12 minutes. We're gonna salt our fish, and we're going to nail it at the top and in the middle, and then we're going to prop it against this fire, and that fire is going to slowly smoke it and kind of lick it with flames, and it's going to be a low and slow heat, so you don't want it right next to it, you want it a ways away. The best way to tell is to put your hand right in front of the salmon, and if you can keep your hand there for about 10-12 seconds, perfect. So you don't need a thermometer, use your hand, it's nature's thermometer. The way I started this fire was kind of fun and unique. I did a friction fire, which is a really fun, primitive way to start your fire. Yeah, you could use, you know, a blowtorch and a match and some cardboard, but why not challenge yourself? So we did a friction fire, and the way that worked was I have a bow and a drill, which is like a wooden spindle, and then a wooden bow with a string on it. And I put that into a board and a top rock on it, and then I just sort of like violin play it and spin the spindle back and forth super quick, and it will build up enough friction, and then the shavings of the spindle will also be wearing off, and the friction gets to a point where it heats and then lights an ember, and that ember will then slowly heat and grow, and then you take that ember and you move it into what's called a nest, which is just a collection of whatever dry things you have around. What we used was some seaweed and some reed shavings that had washed up along our beach and had been drying in the sun. And we use that to put the ember into. You blow on it really softly and blow harder and harder, increasing until smoke turns to flame, and then you put that into a fire pit. And it's just the most incredible way to have fun and start a fire. If you guys want to know more about how to do a friction fire, put some comments in and maybe we'll do a whole video on it. Okay, so let's do this. Let's go down on the ground next to the fire. You don't need a great big fire to do this. All you need is a little backyard fire pit. So you're gonna lay your fish, tail side up, thick part down. It's going to cook more evenly that way. All you're gonna do is take your nail, and I've kind of pre-driven my holes, which I'd recommend doing. Doesn't have to go very far in there. So just prop up your board like this. This is just kind of like a tending process. It's just really, again, it's simple, but it does take some time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, I might move it away a little bit. It's a little toasty. This is why a healthy bed of coals is really necessary, because all I need to do is just move the bed of coals 6, 8 inches away, and you're gonna reduce your cooking temperature, 10, 20 degrees maybe. Other thing you can do, if you got a cluster of crab underneath your chair, throw it in your fire. How you doing, salmon? I'm gonna glaze it. But look, all this beautiful smoke going over, basting that salmon. It's just like turning down the knob of your stove. You think it's getting too hot? Turn it down. Yeah. All right, let's get in the water. Holy Hannah. That was nice, you guys. How's the salmon? You keeping an eye on it for me? The beautiful smoke just licking and basting that salmon piece, some fat dripping down. So again, you can know how it's done. Oops. Know how it's done if you give it the old press with your finger and it starts flaking. And this is done in some spots, but not others. So we're gonna crank it up, finish it, blaze it, glaze it, put it in your mouth. A little snack while you're waiting for your salmon. Bingo. What is it about eating outside that makes your food taste better? Maybe because that's where we had our first meals hundreds of thousands of years ago. We understood that if you can harness fire, your culinary world has just taken an evolutionary jump. Not to mention, I mean, you stay warm and fend off predators with fire, but more importantly, your food tastes better. All right, it's time to take our fish off. If you push on it, it'll flake just a little bit. That means we're ready. All right, let's give this a try, guys. It is incredibly tender. It flakes perfectly. Moist. It has a nice citrus, little back end kick of the orange zest. The maple syrup, of course, is sweet and perfect. It's smoky. It's everything I thought it would be and more. You guys gotta try this. If you want to know more about Sitka Salmon Shares, you don't know what we do, what we're about, go to sitkasalmonshares.com and research what we do. We are a community-supported fishery, responsibly harvesting some of the best, most pristine seafood in the country, and we're bringing it to our members' doors every month. It's the most simple, beautiful supply chain that exists. So check us out. Use the promo code WILDHOME and get 25 bucks off your first share. That's from me to you. You're welcome. Thanks to our fishermen for supplying this incredible coho. This is a silver salmon from Sitka, Alaska. And thanks to our members for supporting us and supporting our fishermen. You allow this to happen. So big shout out to you guys. I don't know what we're gonna do next time, but if you come along, we'll figure it out together. I appreciate you. And stay wild. I don't have any beer left. Aw.